We know how long our mortal life is. Let's say it's 70 to 100 years. We're going to use 100 years for the purposes of the calculations we're going to be doing. But how long is eternal life? Well, that's difficult. It's tough to get your hands around that one. I mean, that's a long time, eternal life, okay? Just how long is forever? So how do we compare a mortal life of 100 years to eternal life when we don't know the number of years of eternal life? Well, we do know the minimum number. The minimum number is 13.7 billion years. So how do we know it's 13.7 billion years? Well, we know that because the scientists tell us that the universe was formed 13.7 billion years ago with the Big Bang. So we know 13.7 billion years is the minimum amount of years in eternal life. It's probably longer, but we know it because there's been 13.7 billion years so far. And so therefore, there must be another 13.7 billion years in the future, and probably more than that. So to compare 13.7 billion years of eternal life to a 100-year mortal life, we're going to start by reducing eternal life to 100-year periods. And after we do that, we're going to reduce mortal life in the same proportion. So just how do we reduce 13.7 billion years into 100-year periods? Well, it's a very simple formula, really. You divide 13.7 billion by 100, and that means there are 137 million 100-year periods in 13.7 billion years. Now we have something which will help us relate better to eternity. We'll just consider it 100 years at a time. What we need to do now is reduce our expected 100-year mortal life to an amount of time that our mortal life would be in relation to a 100-year period of eternal life. So now we have to do the math, and we start by dividing our 100-year mortal life into smaller time periods. Each year has 365 days, so there are 36,500 days in our 100-year mortal life. Each day has 24 hours. That gives us a mortal life of 876,000 hours. Each hour has 60 minutes. That gives us a mortal life of 52,560,000 minutes. And each minute has 60 seconds, for a mortal life of 3,153,600,000 seconds in a 100-year mortal life. Next, we divide 3,153,600,000 seconds by 137 million, which is the number of 100-year units of eternal life. And we calculate that for 100 years of eternal life, there is almost exactly 23 seconds of mortal life. So whether we experienced 100% pleasure or 100% suffering in our mortal life, or something somewhere in between, the total of our mortal life is no more than 23 seconds for each 100 years of eternal life.